Hello again. Since we're, finishing bottles and stuff, so let's do this together. This is the Syrah local, so it's from the Santa Barbara region, just north of Los Angeles. So Santa Barbara County appellation. It's by Tensley. We've discussed this maker a couple of times before, and it's the cuvée called BMT. These are the initials of one of his nieces, Joey Tensley. And so he's got two cuvées that are made only in Magnums, the BMT and the OGT. Again, this is another initials. And these are sort of, a lot of these family businesses, they continue to develop their family connections with second generations, with a sort of expanded family. So this is a way to keep all this going. This is one of their best wines. I mean, Tensley goes back to the end of the 20th century in Santa Barbara. He was one of the first ones to really start like a Syrah, sort of the French style Northern Rhône Syrah production in the region. Just completely focused on Syrah. Afterwards, it evolved in a few other Rhône-like things on the white, like Claret and Roussanne, and Grenache, and some rosé. So there's a bit of a development there. And he makes a lot of very specific vineyard-specific Syrah. So they would have a name, like it would be the Thompson Vineyard, or the Colson Vineyard, or the Rodney Vineyard. And so he kind of developed in the region, it started this whole focus on vineyards, on style, on just having more purity, small production. Any one of these designations in Tensley, maybe they'll have 200-300 cases. So we're not talking thousands and thousands of bottles. It's always very good quality, and it's always reasonable compared to others. His top cuvée is the Tensley Noir. We've had one together, the 2011. That's really his wink, if you want, to the Pur Noir and the Vin Noir of Domaine du Tunnel in Cornas. But these are some of the other cuvées. So this is 2019. It's very young, but I didn't really have a choice. I needed a Magnum, and these are sort of the Magnums I have here. Some of the other Magnums are a lot younger, so it wouldn't really have worked. We had a few people over. Believe it or not, this was opened 2 weeks ago. And right now, this glass here is the best glass I've had. And I've had a similar situation with the 2014 OGT we've had together on this channel here a few years ago. And again, it was just, it took a day or two to really open up. So we're drinking these too young. It was very good in the beginning, but I found it a little too forward, a little too fruity. And that's not typically my style of wine. Of course, you can project what's going to be like, but it's not the same as having a true taste for what it can really be. Anyway, let's talk about this. The color is obviously incredibly rich. It's 75% Syrah from two vineyards, Colson and Rodney, and 25% Grenache. The OGT is 100% Syrah. So you can have a different sort of feel here. So again, very red, a little bit more red than sort of Syrah. So I think that's the Grenache influence. No evolution. These are very alcoholic wines. I don't know if you can see that on the sorry, the glass is not great. The water here is just very, very hard. So washing these glasses is always a challenge. It's 15% alcohol. On the nose, there's a little bit more herbs, so it's kind of back to the lavender, the garrigues, which is really terrific when you have that here. You're really on the West Coast. A little less of the sort of pure red fruit I got in the beginning. So I get lavender, a little bit of violet, but more lavender. Again, those kind of herbs that you get. The alcohol, of course, is very present. Red fruits, just very, very engaging, although powerful. Mm. This is the evolution I was talking about. Now, on the palate, it's a little bit more chocolatey. The fruit, the power, and the elegance are really check each other out. So it's just very, very well balanced without being overpowering, but without being too subtle. It is really, I would, it's a West Coast wine. What can I say? But it's not Napa, which Syrah, which could be overpowering, like some of the sine qua non that we had, or some of the Syrah from Washington State, like horsepower or whatever. Just really, some of these really overpowering, almost syrupy Syrah, but still incredibly well made. No, this got tension. As we discussed before, the region is a bit cooler at night because there's a lot of sort of wind canyons that bring the wind directly from the ocean to a lot of these vineyards. And so they never really get too hot because they have the chance to cool down very quickly during the night. And it just gives you a little bit of a different temperament, let's say. These are not necessarily very hilly or very steep. They are hilly, but not very steep, not very high elevation, but you've got the impact of this specific climate and the coolness of the night. Again, chocolatey, not so ripe blueberries, blackberries also not super ripe. So that fruit is not. It's kind of interesting. It's really a little bit acidic, which is it's present in the Tensley wine. They have great acidity, which make them really work. Open this for pizza night, and that was, I think, a good choice. But at the same time, you've got the fruit from the region, you've got the herbs, you've got the a little bit of licorice, although it's kind of develops afterwards. Very nice finish, kind of just cool and smooth. And, the tannins are not very noticeable. Just a great bottle of wine. And again, you have, as with everything else, you have to look at the quality, the price, the ease to get this on the West Coast. You can find these things despite the low production. And overall, it's just a terrific proposition. Cheers, and see you soon.